In with our top stories. Persons slaughtered, 12 houses at ablaze, plus 11 persons seriously injured as a result of a suspected separatist fighters attack this Monday, November 6, 2023, in Egbenkwo village in Mount in the southwest region. This is coming few hours after a military operation in Ombonji, a village in Akonya subdivision. I'll tell you more in this edition of Newscast. And President Paul Biya clocks 41 years this November 6 at the helm of the nation. Handed over power in 1982 by Ahmadu Ahidjo, Paul Biya was a symbol of hope for all Cameroonians. But today, the story seems different. While some are comfortable with the regime, others have described it as a difficult moment for the citizens. Those are major stories. Details right ahead.
Canal International.
Good evening once more. 12 persons slaughtered, 11 houses are set ablaze, plus 11 persons seriously injured as a result of a suspected separatist fighters attack this November 6, 2023 in Egbenkwo village in Mamfe in the southwest region of Cameroon. This is coming few hours after a military operation in Ombonji, a village in Okonya, a subdivision. More on the story with a reporter Ines Ondwa Bala.
At least 25 persons are reportedly dead in Morphine Manu division of the southwest region of Cameroon, following presumed separatist fighters' attack. The incident occurred early 3:30 a.m. this Monday morning at the Kwekwa village. Accounts have it that the yet-to-be-identified gunmen erupted at the Kwekwa village, murdered 24 persons, raped women, burned houses to ashes, 12 in total. The incident left 11 persons seriously injured. They are currently receiving medical attention at the Malfe Preventive Hospital. An atrocity conducted by the population of Manu who took to the streets of Ikwekwa village this Monday. The 24 victims, who are internally displaced persons, left Akwaya to find refuge in Malfe. They were all killed by suspected separatist fighters who were accusing them from collaborating with defense and security forces. It is worth noting that the incident is coming few hours after military operation in Ombonji village. For the past days, on social media, separatist fighters have been calling on the population to boycott the celebration of the accession into power of President Paul Biya. The senior divisional officer of Manu, Viamekala, held an emergency security meeting this Monday, November 6 in Malfe, where he called on the population to remain calm.
And away from that sad incident, President Paul Biya clocks 41 years this November 6 at the helm of the nation. Handed over power in 1982 by Ahmadu Ahidjo, Paul Biya was a symbol of hope for all Cameroonians by then. But today, the story seems different. While some are comfortable with the regime, others have described it as a difficult moment for its citizens. One of the achievements of the head of state is the opening of doors for multi-party politics and the authorization of other democratic principles. But what is a global evaluation of Cameroon's democracy 41 years after Hisencha talked to some political analysts in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé? History.
Taking up the country from Ahmadu Ahidjo on November 6, 1982, Cameroon was strictly under a one-party system. President Paul Biya then started with the gospel of the New Deal, rigor and moralization geared towards promoting good governance and the practice of democracy, with many promising laws coming into play.
We got from Minat organizing elections to Onel organizing elections, and then now to Elekam organizing elections. That is an evolution of the democratic process.
But to many, all the good laws to promote the concept have remained on paper. Even the creation of hundreds of political parties has not totally reflected the ideal principles of democracy.
Or the many parties don't turn to give the people, the nation, what it wants, because multi-party should not give room for anarchy.
The different yearly electoral conflicts they underline is an indication that the democratic machinery is witnessing hurdles and must be reviewed.
The government should allow political party leaders to live. A good country needs a strong opposition to always tell government that it is wrong here.
The political analysts lament that the lapses in governance during these 41 years of Paul Biya in power have placed both the country and Cameroonians at a very tight corner.
Some of us from the northwest and southwest, we have been in Yaoundé since 2016. We cannot go home. And we have received internally displaced people who have come and met us here. Others are in Nigeria. Government is not even talking about those Cameroonians, thousands who escaped into Nigeria because of the war. We are talking about decentralization that was echoed since 1996, and up to today, it is not effective. So we have nothing to celebrate. I think we said it is a time to sit and ask questions. Where did we go wrong? Look at the corruption in Cameroon. President Paul Biya is fond of keeping the same ministers for years, the same directors for years, in the same post. When you keep somebody so long on the same post, that is where corruption comes in. The people think that they own now that office, of which they are there to do a public service.
Time to go back to the drawing board by implementing the good laws for the interests of all Cameroonians.
The Constitution of Cameroon should be applied equally, because it is applied more when the CPDM wants to manifest than when other political parties, they voice their interest to manifest. The Constitution should be applied the way it was taught and written. It should not be applied according to who is in power at this time. So that is what I think. If it is done like that, there will be more democracy in Cameroon.
The battle to improve democracy in Cameroon to an acceptable level therefore remains a huge task for President Paul Biya and his government.
And just to remind Cameroonians that President Paul Biya was sworn in as president on November 6, 1982. Let's revisit that moment in the following excerpt.
Do you solemnly swear before God and man to devote all your efforts to preserving, protecting, and defending the Constitution and the laws of the United Republic of Cameroon, to watch over the common will of the nation, and to uphold and defend the unity, integrity, and independence of the Cameroon fatherland? I do so swear.
And just to remind you that President Paul Biya of Cameroon clocks 41 years in power this November 6, 2023. He took over late President Amadou Ahidjo, who resigned in 1982. The head of state with a rich political background meets democracy and progress. His blueprints. Let's have details of his political career in this report by Gladys Ambo Tiba.
Paul Biya was born on February 13, 1933, in Vomeka, in the Center-South province. After his primary and secondary education, he continued his studies at the Sorbonne University and at the Institute of Political Studies, where he obtained a degree in public law in 1961. He then joined the government in October 1962 and was immediately appointed chargé de mission at the Presidency of the Republic upon his return from Paris, France. 2 years later, he changed portfolio when he was appointed Director of Cabinet at the Ministry of National Education, Youth Affairs and Culture. He quickly occupied other positions such as Director of Civil Cabinet at the Presidency of the Republic, Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, Minister, Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, Minister of State, Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, and then Prime Minister of the United Republic of Cameroon in 1975. On November 6, 1982, he replaced President Amadou Ahidjo 2 days after he resigned. This in virtue of Law Number 79/2 of June 29, 1979, which stipulated that the Prime Minister becomes the constitutional successor to the President of the Republic. He consolidated power after an attempted coup d'etat by the Presidential Guards on April 6, 1984, just 2 months after he was elected president, that is, on January 14, 1984. Before he came to power, Cameroon was a de facto one-party system in its quest to foster democracy, progress, economic liberalism, and private initiative. President Paul Biya enacted the Law of Associations and Political Parties on December 19, 1990. The law restored multi-party politics in the country. That was when several opposition political parties were born, and today Cameroon counts at least 200 political parties. Since then, most elections that have taken place in the country have always reportedly witnessed irregularities and fraud. The much cherished democracy has been stifled, the economy has been stagnant, corruption has eaten deep into the fabric of every sector, and human rights abuses have worsened. President Paul Biya, aged 90, has ruled Cameroon for 41 years and is currently one of the oldest presidents in the world.
And a lot has happened since President Paul Biya succeeded Amadou Ahidjo on November 6, 1982, after aborted coups, the bloody return of plural party politics in the early 90s, the hunger riots of 2008, and the ongoing Anglophone crisis of nowadays. Paul Biya has managed to maintain his grip on power, but what has the future got in store for the country? Tariq Divine Jr. attempts an answer in the following commentary up next.
Cameroonians at this November 6, 2023, commemorating a historic event. It was on this day 41 years ago that Paul Biya, hitherto Prime Minister, succeeded the country's first president, Amadou Ahidjo, who had 2 days earlier on November 4, 1982, suddenly stepped down, stirring controversy about the real reasons for his resignation. Despite several moments of uncertainty, with notably the 1984 aborted coup, recurrent spits of socio-political turmoil, marked by, amongst others, the turbulent return to multi-party politics in the early 90s and the hunger riots in 2008, Paul Biya has, even with the ongoing Anglophone crisis and by force, or what some term fraud, weathered the storms. And in spite of the virulent condemnations of what his critics have termed the gross mismanagement of the country with endemic corruption, bad governance, the silencing of dissents and elections rigging, sticking out as the main catchphrases, Paul Biya has stood his ground, insisting that it is only who can and not who wishes that can stay so long in power. For some of his comrades of the ruling CPDM, the 90-year-old head of state remains a hero who should seek another mandate in the next presidential election scheduled for 2025. And over the past few days, there have been resonating calls from far and near for him to stand again. Observers, including dissidents within the CPDM, however, worry about what might happen to Cameroon in the case of a sudden vacuum at the helm of state. The age of President Paul Biya, who will be 92 in 2025, is at the center of various concerns. Simply put, the political future of the country is at stake, and those stakes are further compounded by the absence of a clear-cut succession plan. Conspiracy theorists have directed their fingers at the First Lady, others at one of his sons as potential future presidents of Cameroon. All those considerations remain hypothetical though. Under normal circumstances, the final decision on who should take the command baton from BIYA should rest with the Cameroonian people. But the outcome of previous elections caused many to doubt. And that's what the future of Cameroon without Paul BIYA appears to look like in the horizon. A future soaked in doubts and uncertainty.
And away from politics, we now talk culture. The royals too in the littoral region has been occupied with the enthronement of a new family head of the community. The Eye of the King will now give a feedback to the palace on how the sons and daughters of the are faring in the littoral region. Kejang Henry Atembe was at the enthronement ceremony. His story.
Timothy has been officially enthroned as the head of the Com family of the littoral region. He was enthroned on Saturday, November 4, 2023. In a veritable display of the Com culture, the palace was delocalized from the land of the Bobes to Douala as the customs and traditions of the Com people reverberated with the drumbeat.
We are witnessing the installation of our new Com family head in Douala, Bobenjo Timothy, who was recently designated by His Royal Highness von Clemens II of Com. And as you can see, the Com community, with all our invitees, we are happy because the fund choose one of our illustrious sons who represents the whole community, who is found in every sector. He has impacted the lives of so many Com children here in Douala, and he has done a lot for the Com community.
That I have for the Com women is that they should be respectful to their husband. And they should maintain their culture. They should maintain their culture and they should know their position as a woman.
Similarly to the making of the king, Bobe Joe Timothy has the duty to unite the sons and daughters of Com living in the littoral region. True to the traditions and customs, the Com people turn out in their numbers to hail their family head, who will report to His Royal Majesty. From the Mungu, then come the Sanaga Maritime and the Vuri. They turn out with their togo, a true identity of the grasslanders of the Northwest region. More than 30 dance groups thrilled the attendees to the destination ceremony with symphonies from the Com land.
And that report by Kejang Henry Atembe brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast, the English language in Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. But coming up next is The Brief with Lil Peugeot. So me up back, same time tomorrow. Good night.